You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your Cloud Plus certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Endpoint security and user permissions together form the outermost and innermost layers of cloud defense. At the edge, endpoints must be hardened and monitored, while internally, permissions must be strictly defined to prevent misuse. When either of these controls is weak or misconfigured, the system becomes vulnerable to compromise. Misused permissions can grant attackers more reach, while unprotected endpoints can become entry points. This credential includes permission enforcement, antivirus protection, and endpoint detection as foundational components of workload security. This episode focuses on three key topics that support system security across cloud-connected environments. First, it explores how user permissions must be applied with precision to prevent privilege misuse. Second, it addresses the tools required to detect and stop malware, including traditional antivirus and advanced endpoint detection and response. Finally, it covers the visibility and control provided by endpoint management platforms. Candidates will be expected to manage user access and ensure that endpoints are protected, monitored, and compliant across cloud deployments. The principle of least privilege is the foundation of secure access control. Under this principle, each user is granted only the permissions absolutely necessary to complete their assigned tasks, no more, no less. By doing so, organizations limit the potential impact if a user account is compromised. This principle also reduces privilege creep, where users accumulate excessive access over time. This credential emphasizes the importance of implementing least privilege through well-defined roles, user groups, and cloud access policies. Managing permissions at a granular level means controlling access beyond general system login. Users may need access to specific folders, applications, or APIs, but they should not receive permissions for services or data they do not directly use. Improper group membership can result in inherited access that exceeds a user's role. Candidates should be able to analyze permission assignments, identify over-provisioned access, and reassign roles to match actual responsibilities. Understanding these details is essential for access control in cloud environments. Regular permission audits ensure that access privileges remain accurate over time. When users change roles, leave projects, or become inactive, their permissions must be reviewed and adjusted. Audits help discover dormant accounts, excessive rights, and security risks resulting from outdated access. This credential may test your ability to identify when access reviews should occur and what signs indicate that permissions have become misaligned with business or operational needs. Antivirus and anti-malware tools continue to play an important role in cloud-connected environments. While many threats are now sophisticated and behavior-based, traditional antivirus tools still detect known malware through signature-based detection. Workstations, virtual desktops, and some server workloads require these tools to meet compliance and security standards. Candidates should be familiar with antivirus policies that enforce scanning schedules and signature updates to maintain effectiveness. Endpoint detection and response, or EDR, represents the next evolution in endpoint protection. These tools monitor endpoint behavior in real time, looking for suspicious patterns such as lateral movement, file tampering, or privilege escalation. EDR tools support remote remediation, automated isolation, and forensic review. This credential includes EDR as part of cloud-native endpoint management and expects candidates to understand how it supports detection and response within modern cloud architectures. It is important to distinguish between traditional antivirus and EDR. Antivirus tools react to known signatures, making them effective for widespread and well-documented malware. EDR, on the other hand, uses behavioral detection to identify threats that have not been cataloged. It often includes forensic timelines and rollback capabilities to restore infected systems. Candidates must recognize which tool is appropriate in which scenario, especially when determining how to respond to new or unknown threats. Endpoint agent deployment is central to both antivirus and EDR functionality. These agents reside on each system and report telemetry back to a central management console. Effective agents must be resistant to tampering, capable of self-updating, and remain in compliance with organizational policy. This credential covers agent lifecycle management across large, cloud-managed fleets with attention to policy enforcement and cross-platform compatibility. Alert generation and event triggers allow EDR systems to flag unusual activity and escalate it to security teams or automation systems. These alerts may arise from suspicious processes, unauthorized access attempts, or behavioral anomalies. To be useful, alerts must be tuned to minimize false positives while ensuring threats are not missed. Candidates should understand how alerts integrate with security information and event management platforms, and how tuning thresholds affects incident workflows. Bring your own device, and guest endpoint scenarios present unique risks. Unmanaged devices may lack antivirus, endpoint visibility, or encryption, making them difficult to secure. Network access control can restrict these devices, allowing only limited access until they meet baseline security requirements. In some cases, virtual desktop infrastructure can provide a secure environment without trusting the endpoint. The credential may include scenarios where policy enforcement is needed to limit exposure from guest devices. Cloud-managed endpoint protection tools offer dashboards, policy enforcement, and remote action capabilities through cloud-based consoles. Examples include Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, CrowdStrike Falcon, SentinelOne, and other integrated solutions. These platforms allow administrators to view agent health, enforce isolation, and push updates from a central location. Candidates must understand what these cloud-native consoles can do and how they contribute to consistent endpoint posture across large environments. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Tamper protection ensures that antivirus and endpoint detection agents remain operational and cannot be disabled or altered by unauthorized users or malware. This protection blocks local changes to agent settings, ensuring that users cannot stop monitoring or bypass security policies. Cloud consoles must provide visibility into agent health, including version status, operational state, and last contact time. This credential includes tamper resistance as a key component of agent integrity, requiring that tools remain reliable even during attack attempts. Policy enforcement for endpoint tools must be centrally managed to ensure consistency across all systems. These policies define how often scans occur, what triggers a quarantine, and how alerts are handled. Centralized enforcement ensures that devices do not drift from the intended configuration, even if they are used in different departments or locations. The exam may include scenarios where you must identify how to push a new policy across a group of devices or verify that enforcement is active on all endpoints. Endpoint tools must collect and forward logs that reflect system activity in detail. These logs include processes started, files accessed or modified, unusual behaviors, and outbound network connections. They must be retained for auditing purposes and integrated with broader security monitoring platforms like security information and event management systems. Candidates should know how endpoint logs contribute to incident detection and how they can be analyzed to detect attacks or policy violations in real time. Some endpoints may become disconnected from cloud services for periods of time due to travel, power loss, or network issues. Offline protection ensures that even when disconnected, endpoint policies remain in effect. EDR tools should continue to monitor activity, enforce restrictions, and queue logs or alerts for later upload. The certification may include a scenario where an offline laptop still blocks execution of unknown software, illustrating the importance of local policy persistence. One of the most powerful features of EDR is its ability to take response actions such as quarantine and rollback. If an endpoint is determined to be compromised, EDR can isolate it from the network to stop lateral movement. Additionally, some tools can reverse the changes made by malware, restoring altered files to their original state. Candidates should understand which EDR actions are appropriate in various infection stages and how they help contain damage before it spreads. Endpoint protection tools can be integrated with cloud identity and access management systems to create conditional access policies. For instance, a user may be blocked from logging in to cloud applications if their device lacks antivirus or is flagged by the EDR system. This approach ties endpoint health to user privileges, enhancing security by denying access from risky devices. The exam may test your ability to implement or troubleshoot these conditional access scenarios. Anti-tampering features are often paired with encryption policies to protect endpoint data even if the device is lost or stolen. Disk encryption tools such as BitLocker ensure that data remains unreadable without proper authentication. Enforcing encryption and anti-tampering settings through cloud-based endpoint management helps create a layered defense strategy. Candidates must recognize when these controls are missing and how to enforce them across device groups using management platforms. To summarize, secure endpoint management relies on enforcing least privilege access, maintaining real-time threat detection, and enabling fast response to incidents. Endpoint tools must be configured correctly, actively monitored, and resistant to tampering. This credential covers both traditional and modern protections, including antivirus, EDR, permission reviews, and access policies. Candidates must understand how these tools work together to reduce risk, improve visibility, and maintain compliance in cloud environments of all sizes. Visibility and proactive enforcement allow organizations to spot potential risks before they escalate. When user permissions are reviewed and corrected, when agents are kept healthy, and when alerts are meaningful and timely, security teams can focus their efforts where they matter most. Cloud-native tools provide the scale and automation necessary to apply these protections across thousands of devices with minimal manual effort. This credential reinforces that automation and visibility are not optional. They are required for sustainable endpoint defense. The success of endpoint protection depends not just on the tools used, but also on how well those tools are managed. Centralized platforms must track versioning, detect failures, and enforce recovery policies. Administrators must stay ahead of updates, ensure compatibility with operating systems, and adjust configurations as threats evolve. The exam may include scenarios where you are asked to resolve issues with misconfigured agents or missing policy enforcement in a hybrid cloud fleet. Real-time data from endpoints must be used to inform higher-level security analytics. For example, recurring alerts from a group of devices may indicate a broader campaign targeting a specific department. Correlating these alerts with cloud activity logs, identity provider data, or firewall behavior allows for faster root cause analysis. This credential encourages candidates to connect endpoint telemetry with other signals in the environment for a more complete understanding of ongoing threats. Finally, endpoint protection policies should be evaluated and tested regularly. Security requirements change as new threats emerge, and static configurations may become obsolete. Testing should include not only functionality checks but also simulated attacks to validate detection and response readiness. Candidates should understand the importance of continuous evaluation and the steps required to improve endpoint policies over time. The exam may ask how to verify that endpoint protections are still aligned with organizational security goals. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.